How you doing today? My name is Troy Carter, and basically what I'm doing right now is giving my testimony. Once again, um, I'm trying to make it short as possible,
That's all right.
but with that being said, I was in Columbus, Ohio, visiting my brothers and doing other things that I had no business doing at the age of 17, you know. But one of my brothers got into it, not biological, but we grew up together, so we were little kids, and it's a whole lot of us. But one of my brothers got into it with a guy over a female, not like that. Her so-called boyfriend was beating on her, and that's just something we don't condone or deal with. And so my brother told her to tell her boyfriend that only expletives put their hands on women,
Hmm.
which is the truth. And so he was beating her for one day for no reason at all, as usual. And she figured since she was getting beat, she would tell him what my brother said. And we ended up throwing a day party for the three surrounding projects for the kids and everything. And it's about 11:30, 11:30, and he called himself coming to confront my brother. Now my brother told him that's between you and your girl, and he turned his back to him. And somehow this idiot swings on my brother, and from behind and misses. The guy my brother was conversing with told him that he swung on him. He got fed up. My brother turned around and commenced to beating him for the next 30 something, 40 minutes. And the only reason we let it go on that long was because we wanted him to see how it is, how it felt, how she felt, and
Hmm.
how she feels every time he puts his hands on her, and there's nothing she can do with him. Just like there was nothing he could do with my brother. So everyone's laughing, cracking jokes, ridiculing him, whole nine. And so he left. And for the next 3.5 weeks, it continued. He continued to be ridiculed, laughed at, made fun of by his own family, everybody else in the three surrounding projects, and everything. And his pride broke. And his little pride broke, and he wanted to get revenge then on my brother. Well, my brother happened to be out of town on some business for me. And so, with that being said, they decided that they would get one of us. The first one of us that they saw, they would plot on, and that's, fortunately, unfortunately, I was that one that they saw, and they ended up plotting on me. If I would have known at the time that's what was going down, things probably would have been different, but I didn't. So it, they pretty much just plotted, waited till one night where we throw our regular weekend parties. Everyone had a good time, left. One of my brothers was looking for our oldest brother, and he kept bamming and bamming on the door, making it seem like it was just emergency. We found him or whatever, like he was lost. And so, by me knowing all his hangouts where he be, I get up and I go drive around to see if we could find him. Couldn't find him. We were driving around, but realized when we got back that he was 4 doors down. But when we came in to the projects, Agler Greens, we heard the speed bumps that you go over. We
Hmm.
felt that, and then all of a sudden we see a red station wagon with black with tinted windows that we had never seen before. So I sat there after turning my music down, and we looking, and all of a sudden he rolls down the window, sticks his head out, it's security with a new car, so he said hey and everything and all that good stuff, not knowing that the head of security and that the boy that my brother got into it with were actually brothers. That would have made a big difference if we knew that, But with that being said, I turned my music back up and we proceeded to go back to the end of the court. Now we hear a couple of booms while music is just extremely loud at this time, so I don't really not paying too much attention to it. When we got to the last court, when we made that right turn, felt like the car wouldn't turn right. So I stopped and told my friend to look out the window and see if this blowout on the tires or whatever, and I look out mine. Neither one of us could see from looking out the window. So we both stepped out the car. As soon as I stepped out the car, my feet hit the ground. I collapsed to my knees just to realize blood was just gushing and pouring down my neck and chest. And at this point, you got bullets whizzing past your head at the same time and hitting the windshield. So something was telling me, Troy, get up when you get killed. So I get up, and the way I wanted to go was through the back court. So that way I can at least jump into the ditches and get to the house safely and get help. But unfortunately, my feet wouldn't let me go that way. So I had to go around the long way that I would have took with the car. And so while I'm going this way running, I run up on this one female's porch where my brother happened to be, our oldest brother happened to be, and I'm telling her to open the door until I look up and realize that she got 5 kids in the window. And I tell her, don't open the door. I'm not trying to have kids be innocent kids be hurt for something they have nothing to do with, let alone I have nothing to do with it. But with that being said, she kept coming, but I kept telling her, don't open the door. And so I look up again and I realize my brother up there, he's upset because he wants to shoot, but I told him not to because I don't want them to turn fire up in there and somebody get hit, you know. And I end up getting shot, make a long story short, five times with a Mac 11 carrying 45 caliber spuds, 4 in the back, 1 in the neck. That's the one that made me a quadriplegic, the one in the neck. And once, right in the mustache, went straight through. The reason I had to get my tooth pulled, which I'll be getting it taken care of shortly. But with that being said, it went straight through and kind of knocked my teeth out a little bit. And it kind of lodged in. And I remember because I bumped my tongue trying to push the piece of lead out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And as he was shooting me on the porch, one guy was aiming for my head with a 22 assault rifle with the scope on it. By the grace of God, the other idiot shot me in the back while I was on the porch and he jerked my body. So instead of hitting me in the head, he jerked my body and turned my head to the right. And that's how I got shot in the mustache right there. And that particular shot threw me off the porch. So at this point in time, I'm pretty much crawling, trying to get to the house, but the body just gave out, couldn't go anymore. And he stood over me. And I remember vividly because he kept talking like it was a movie or something. You know how when you got someone where you want them, and everyone just keeps on talking, and then that person ends up getting dead. And I remember telling him, if you're gonna do it, do it. If not, get the heck on. And he shot me one last time in the back, and my brother couldn't take it no more, and he ended up shooting 3 shots off from a pistol grip pump and shot the guy's leg off, and it was hanging on by a tendon. So his friends came and swooped around and tried to put him in the back seat. But when they slammed the door, they didn't realize that his leg was still just outside the door, hanging on by the attendant. And when they slammed the door, it just kind of flopped in the middle of the street. I mean, it's not a laughing situation, but at the time, I did remember laughing, And the next thing I know, I was looking down, I was up in the sky, looking down at this whole scene. And I see somebody that looked like they got messed up. And I remember saying to myself, dang, somebody was messed up down there. And it was like a zoom, man. And I'm like, hold on, that's me. Like, how am I talking and looking at like, oh, that did just happen, So I realized that I had an out-of-body experience at the time. And I'm looking at everybody fighting and arguing. These are females arguing and fighting, literally fisticuffs, over who's going to put their blanket or quilt over my body to keep me warm. Even though the paramedic guy came already and pronounced me DOA, dead on arrival. I ended up being DOA for the first hour and 5 minutes. And that's only because they couldn't leave until the coroner came. But by the grace of God, God was blessed me to be able to come back. The female paramedic walked 2 squares on the sidewalk past my feet. She stopped in her tracks. She turned around, ran back to me, and about the time she kneeled down to me, she realized that I was breathing again and my heart was beating. And she yelled for her partner. He came quickly, and they put me in the back of the EMS truck. And that was the last thing I remember until 3 days later, waking up in the hospital to my mother and my girl at the time. And with that being said, I thought that I was talking and moving regular, like I'm talking to you now, and I actually thought I was moving too, but there's no easy way to tell anyone you're quadriplegic and you can't move or go anywhere. And so when they told me that, I looked down with my eyes and realized that my arms and legs were in splints. And then I look up with my eyes and realize that my head has this big steel halo on it. And as far as talking, I looked down and my chin kept hitting up against something, and I realized it was a trach on a respiratory machine. And I was actually talking like, let's get the heck out of here, you know, because I had to speak with the breathing machine. And I asked the doctor to put me to sleep, so I could I was hoping that it was a nightmare. I could go to sleep, you know, wake back up, and everything was just a nightmare. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Things seemed to get worse. You know, to make a long story short, somehow, some way, after he put me to sleep, you know, some call it purgatory, some call it just a dream or a nightmare. But it was God showing me something, because we ended up in the cafeteria, and somehow, sort of like a war broke out. You know, they're shooting and shooting and shooting all around the cafeteria. We flipping tables over to prevent from getting shot. And like an idiot, I stand up for whatever reason, I don't know. And I ended up getting shot in the chest and fell down. The individuals that I was with, I didn't know them in reality, but while I was under, it felt like I knew them. And they began to press on my chest to try to stop the bleeding. And all of a sudden, the most beautiful thing I ever seen was an angel come down, and she took a blue and white crystal ball and just put it right between my abdomen and my chest. And when she pulled her hand out, the ball was still in there. And all of a sudden, I get up, and they're shooting me with a whole bunch of different kind of weapons, AK-47s, AR-15s, all type of stuff. But all the bullets are melting. And to make a long story short, when I finally come to, the doctor was telling my mother and I and my girl at the time about what happened and how long it took when I came in the ER, the OR and the ER, and how long they tried to find the 4 bullets that hit me in the back. Because I had the 4 entry wounds with no exit wounds. And I mean, they searched and searched and searched, and he kept reiterating on how much time and effort they put into trying to find these bullets, you know, but the pieces of lead, but they couldn't find anything. And they spent over 2 hours trying to find them. So when he broke out and said it was like they melted, it made me think back to when she put the crystal ball into me, and everything started melting every time I got hit. And all I could do was to say thank you, God, to myself, because I realized it was God letting me know that he was with me through the whole time, protecting me. Yes. And he's the one that brought me back, because they never tried to resuscitate me, not one time through the whole ordeal. I mean, they just continue to tell people that he's DOA, he's gone, he's DOA. And not one time did they try to resuscitate me. But God has me here for a reason. He's changed my life a complete 180, which I'm grateful for, you know. And the experiences that I have witnessed through these 24 years have been wonderful. And I know God is real, I know Christ is real. I love him unconditionally and wouldn't trade him in for anything in the world. And with that being said, that's my testimony. And I love to be able to get to meet you guys in person sometime soon. And I'll be able to hopefully talk and answer any questions that you have face to face at some point. So I appreciate you guys listening, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to give my testimony. And I'd like to thank God and let you all know that I love you.
We love you too.
Thank you.